The start of conference play brings UConn to Cincinnati. The Huskies a perfect 42-0 all-time in the American. Tonight, the nation's #1 team looks for win number 48 in a row. It's the Bearcats and the Huskies now on SNY. From Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, we welcome you to UConn women's basketball on SNY, the #1 Huskies set to take on the Bearcats. UConn women's basketball on SNY, brought to you by Nissan. There's still time to save at Nissan's holiday event. Shop ChooseNissan.com and your local Nissan store today. By Bridgeport Hospital, a part of Yale New Haven Health, where they have the passion to believe in what healthcare can achieve. Learn more at bridgeporthospital.org. And by People's United Bank NA, putting the power of know-how to work for you. UConn was at work Monday night in New York City. The Maggie Dixon Classic, Madison Square Garden. For the first time this season, they trailed in the second half, but it was a second half comeback for the Huskies against 6th-ranked Maryland. Mariah Jefferson with the tough take. And then Morgan Tuck and Brianna Stewart working. 17 for Jefferson, 17 for Tuck, 23 for Stewart, and this big three from Sanaya Chong with 40 seconds left. Put it away for UConn. They won it 83-73, the final. With that, we welcome you to Cincinnati alongside Megan Como. I am Eric Freed. So now as UConn gets ready for conference play, we can reflect on the non-conference part of the schedule, and they still have one big non-conference game left. But what have we learned about this UConn team? Because they took a pretty good shot from Maryland on Monday night.
They did. You know what I like about where they are right now, the three seniors have done a really good job of taking this team, and they all lead very differently. Brianna Stewart, Morgan Tuck, much more vocal this year. Mariah Jefferson leads by example, but they've had some good battles early on, and you learn the most through your battles, and I think they like what they've learned.
Going 10-0 to this point, now stepping into conference play, and as we mentioned, they have never lost a conference game. They usually don't get a lot of resistance in the American, but that means there's plenty for them to look at within themselves to improve down the stretch here.
Oh, absolutely. Now, certainly over the next 2 months, their goal is to win the regular season conference. But, you know, the other big key for these guys, I talked about those three seniors, but let's not forget they have 2 freshmen who really need a lot of experience to get them ready for March. The other bench players will get more minutes. You know, certainly Kian Nurse, Gabby Williams, those guys are going to get valuable experience that they will all need come NCAA tournament.
And now they get ready for conference play, set to take on the Cincinnati Bearcats. It was a real good start to the season. 10 games, 10 wins, most recently over Maryland in a tight one. Now the Huskies set to take on Cincinnati. Back with the lineups and the opening tip next on SNY. UConn women's basketball on SNY, brought to you by Connecticut Lighting Centers and Restoration Lighting Gallery Centers. So much more than just a lighting store. By Toyota, let's go places. And by UConn Health, breakthrough medicine here for you. We are on the road, but you can join Gino Auriemma and the Huskies as they try to make history with a 4th national championship in a row and 11th overall. Flex packs, single game tickets, or group tickets are still available at ucontickets.com. Here are tonight's starting lineups presented by Subaru. First for the Huskies, their starting 5 includes Nafisa Collier for the 4th consecutive game. She's joined by Mariah Jefferson, Kian Nurse, Morgan Tuck, and Brianna Stewart. And it's another night moving up the charts we expect here for Brianna Stewart. She needs 11 points to tie Carrie Bascom for 5th all-time in scoring, 12 points to tie Nikisha Sales and Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis for 3rd all-time. So if she hits her average, she's going to be number 3 all-time by the end of tonight for head coach Gino Auriemma in season number 31 here at UConn. For Cincinnati, they start 3 seniors, a junior and a sophomore. Their best player is Anna Owens, averaging nearly 15 points a game. She wears number 3, joined by Alicia Lovett, Brandy Tarver, Jasmine Whitfield, and Shelby Chandler. For Jamel Elliott, Jamel's in her 7th season now as Cincinnati's head coach. Of course, she needs no introduction to the UConn family. 12 seasons as a UConn assistant, a member of that '95 championship team. So we do expect everyone to be available for UConn, and that includes Sanaya Chung. This was the workout routine. Rosemary Regal has worked out with Sanaya. It worked before that Maryland game because Sanaya had some pretty good lift in those legs for those 10 minutes she played. So we'll watch for Sanaya to come off the bench tonight.
And the key, too, not only did she play well, but she was pain-free. That made such a difference. Let's hope that whatever Rosie's doing over there, it's working. As
we've told you throughout the season, Sanaya battling an IT band injury in her right knee. So she has her own pregame routine. Now, she wasn't out here for the warm-up at the start of the game with her teammates. They were just trying to get that leg going with massage. And Mariah Jefferson gets UConn going with the drive to the basket for an early 2.
Jefferson better than anyone in the country in dribble penetrating into the middle of the zone.
Tuck on the inside had position. It was knocked out of bounds by Chandler. Let's watch that drive by Jefferson.
You see a 3-2 zone there, and the best way to attack is get into the gaps. You see 23 there giving all the focus and attention on Stewart not to leave her open.
Stewart finds a cutting Tuck. She'll go to the line. Bob Enderline, Frank Steratore, and Tiara Cruz are officiating crew here tonight. Go ahead, Meg.
Eric, the reason Cincinnati is playing a zone is because obviously they don't match up well man-to-man with UConn and cannot guard them one-on-one. So UConn has to do a good job of moving the ball on the pass, dribble penetrating into the gaps, and keep it going side to side.
See the numbers for Morgan on the season. Second on the team in scoring, third in rebounding. She's been very good from the field as of late, 62% over her last 5 games. UConn putting the pressure on, and it's going to be a 10 count. They did not get it over half court in time, so UConn forces a turnover. This was a point of emphasis for Gino Auriemma, and it's something that you and I talked about as we were going through areas to focus on in conference play, but really the commitment on the defensive end. This is a very good defensive team. They could be better, especially when it comes to defending the 3. Offense is no problem. Nafisa Collier scored.
Yeah. Well, you know, they've given up a lot of 3s this year, and I don't think a lot of us are used to seeing that. Certainly their head coach, Gino Auriemma, not happy about it, but they get so many steals.
Mariah Jefferson, a little duck under, can't get it, but that's Kia Nurse hustling down the floor, and she'll go to the free throw line. No, it's a jump ball tie-up. I thought she was fouled, I beg your pardon, but a good play made by Cincinnati, and it will be Bearcats basketball.
Well, you know, they go for so many steals, and they've gotten more steals this year than they have in recent memory. Jefferson just couldn't finish off of her nice pick on the defensive end, and you saw that Nurse was there for that offensive rebound, but the tie-up.
Tough shot, good job by Stewart defensively, trying to take Whitfield away. Whitfield, 14 points a game, second on the team in scoring. Tuck skips it, Nurse got it.
Again, the skip pass is such a dangerous pass against the zone.
4 different scores for UConn here in the first 2 minutes of the first quarter.
Cincinnati, a good defensive team. They struggle on the offensive end of the floor, only shooting 35%.
There's a 3-pointer, though, for Cincinnati. Alicia Lovett.
That's a good start.
18% from outside the arc this year.
Yeah, they're only shooting 30% from behind the arc. They'll take it, though.
Morgan Tuck has her first field goal. UConn 4 of 5 from the field so far.
I would imagine a different focus on the shooters along the perimeter for UConn tonight.
Tuck drive to the basket, grabbed by Collier, and now Nurse. 4 on 2 the other way for the Huskies. Great touch pass, Tuck to Stewart. Timeout, Cincinnati. Beautiful fast break basketball executed by the Huskies. They've been doing it on the break. They've attacked the basket, and they've also hit from outside. We saw Kia Nurse knock it down on the feed from Morgan Tuck. Great start for UConn here in Cincinnati. 5 starters have scored for UConn. They are 5 of 6 from the field, and they lead here in Cincinnati early. Let's check in with Meg. And Como's Court Vision, brought to you by Bridgeport Hospital, part of Yale New Haven Health.
Well, there, the difficult shot. Well, how about that rebound? Look how quickly UConn gets to the ball up the floor. And the unselfishness, the quick dish there from Tuck. I wish this was ice hockey, because then Jefferson could get an assist on that play too, right?
You're right. Well,
sharing the basketball, that's the point.
That moved as quickly as an odd man rush in hockey. Covered the 94 feet pretty quickly here on the court as UConn jumping out to a 13-3 lead, forcing an early timeout called by Cincinnati, and now pressure in the backcourt from the top-ranked Huskies, 10-0 on the season. There's Owens. Take to the basket, won't drop, but she'll go to the free throw line. Shoot a couple. Sophomore out of Indianapolis, averaging almost 15 points a game to lead Cincinnati in scoring.
Well, here, the nice crossover by Owens to get to the lane. Tuck, too late. Coming over to help. Impressive move by 5'6" sophomore.
Owens will shoot a lot. She was 2 of 18 from the field against Georgia last time out. Has started each and every game in her 2 years at Cincinnati.
You know, we talked off the top of the show about the number of minutes and how they'll be spread around for UConn. Owens plays 35 minutes a game. That'll wear on you over the course of a 25-game season.
Kia Nurse. Just the second miss for UConn. Cincinnati will take over. That last game for Jamel Elliott's team was a loss at Georgia, 60-42. They kept Georgia well below their season average, but as Meg mentioned before, finding points has been a struggle for the Bearcats. Chandler. 10 to shoot.
Really good half-court defense here.
And a reach-in by Stewart.
Bailed them out there with the foul as the shot clock was winding down.
Players may not know the numbers exactly, but we do. They beat Cincinnati by an average of 61 points a game last year, so they know it has come easy. How does Gino Auriemma handle things here as you get into conference play, and you know with kids, they know, well, it's been easy. I've just been watching him. He's had that we're playing Maryland or Notre Dame intensity on the sideline here.
And you know, that's just the way that he attacks every game. He always says we are playing against the game of basketball, not against the opposition. And so the game needs to be played a certain way, and if you slack off, it's disrespecting the game.
So he's watching for that here. As you get into a game where you know you're a big favorite coming in, he's watching for that even more closely.
Absolutely. There have been games where they've won by a lot, and he's not happy with what he's seen, and he's miserable.
He's not going to like this sequence here as UConn turns it over in the half court. Cincinnati trying to come back. They have weathered the initial storm to trail by 6, and they have the basketball. One and done this possession. Flip up ahead to Jefferson. Nurse, another three-pointer for Kia Nurse, her second of the game. She's got that average up to 35% on the season from outside the three-point line.
Well, she worked a lot in the offseason on her long-range game.
Owens, you can see when she has a little bit of an opening, she'll take it, and she made it. Four points for Owens as it's worked down low to Collier. Open look for Stewart.
Now Cincinnati doing a good job of packing it in. UConn not getting it into the lane as much, just passing it around the perimeter. But that's how you try to pull that zone out. 2 threes in a row there by Nurse and here by Stewart. That's how you extend that zone defense. Just bomb them from long range.
Gabby Williams comes into the game for UConn, replacing Collier. as Owens and Cincinnati break the pressure. Owens, wild shot, trying to put it over Stewart. Jefferson to Tuck. Bodies on the deck. Lovett was already down. Stewart tumbled over her, and a foul's going to be called on Alicia Lovett.
This was a problem from that moment. When Tuck got the ball and spun, you can hear the crowd booing, not happy with the call. That was just an ugly play.
And it looked like Lovett was just ducking for cover on the court, and she's the one who got called for the foul. Nurse's entry pass batted away, and a foul called on Gabby Williams.
Really good D by Whitfield to take that pass away into the low post, fronting it from the high side, knocked it away. Again, Cincinnati plays really good defensively.
Tarver gets to the basketball first. Owens. You can tell she's slippery. She can find those little openings. 7 to shoot. Whitfield. And another foul called on UConn.
Nice job by Cincinnati. The dribble penetration, going to the basket, taking it right to UConn.
That is going to be personal foul number 2 on Morgan Tuck, so she'll go to the bench. Sanaya Chong comes into the game. So we'll see what kind of impact the magic hands of Rosemary Regal have for the game on Sanaya. UConn piling up the fouls right now. That's going to be team foul number 5, so 2 free throws coming up now for Cincinnati.
Yeah, for the rest of the quarter. You know, and it's all because of their aggressive moves. I wouldn't necessarily call that a bad defensive play. Instead, it's a really smart heads-up play by Jasmine Whitfield.
First personal foul on Kia Nurse. Whitfield, a senior, has been in double figures in every game but 2 this year, highlighted by a 24-point, 17-rebound game against Detroit. Number 2 scorer on this Cincinnati team cannot hit from the free throw line. Here comes UConn in a 10-point game first quarter. Jefferson got it for 3. 3-point shot has been there, as Meg mentioned. Cincinnati packing it in on the inside, opening up opportunities for UConn on the outside. Owens, deep 3. Almost got it.
This place would have erupted had that gone in.
Good hustle play by Chelsea Warren, who gets the rebound. Gabby Williams pulls down the rebound for UConn. Stewart finds an open Chong. Nurse. 1 and done for the Huskies. Rebounded by Lovett. And there's Mariah Jefferson hustling from behind, saving it before it goes out of bounds. And now UConn will run back the other way. Williams in deep. And count it, and the foul. Gabby Williams scores, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Well, it all started with outstanding hustle on the defensive end and the heads-up save to her teammate. And then here, I just love Jefferson burying her defender down in the lane. And even with the double team coming, her strength allowed her to get it up and in while getting fouled.
For Gabby Williams, who scored 18 points and pulled down 14 rebounds against Cincinnati at home last year, finishes off the 3-point play. Nafisa Collier back into the game for UConn, in for Kia Nurse. Here's Maya Benham, a freshman out of Douglasville, Georgia. On for the Bearcats. Approaching 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And a traveling violation. Stewart there defensively again for UConn.
An awkward looking play on the defensive end, but it's the outstretched arm that allowed her to sort of create that bizarre turnover by Cincinnati.
Fourth turnover for the Bearcats. Jefferson, Chong, Stewart, Collier, and Williams on the floor right now for UConn. Great job by Collier, who missed on one end but comes back defensively and makes a play on the other.
A really good defensive play. I'm not so sure that's the shot you want on the other end, but you'll always take that.
And for the first time, checking in for UConn, Natalie Butler makes her debut.
It's been a long time coming.
Sanaya Chong inside for the rebound. Butler has been dealing with a left thumb problem. You can still see it's wrapped up. She had surgery on October 19th, and here she is getting her first touch back outside the Chong. The return, and how about that for a start?
I like the patience in there. She got it and kicked it out, readjusted. Nice pass back from Chong.
Off the rebound, here's Jefferson. Kick outside, Sanaya. That's short, but there is Butler. Gabby Williams rips down the rebound, and a jump ball possession arrow, UConn.
See, look at that. I like the patience and the poise. The dribble, she saw the double team, kicked it out to her open teammate, readjusted. See the double team, kick it. The defender goes back to Chong, and the ball fake and the dribble, and she's one-on-one. Nice move by Butler. You know, at her height, at 6'5", they can't guard her one-on-one down there.
You see the numbers at Georgetown. It's been a long time since she played. She was the Big East Freshman of the Year, but then transferred from Georgetown, sat out last year as a transfer, and sat out first semester this year as she was dealing with that thumb problem. Brianna Stewart back into the game, along with Kia Nurse, as Mariah Jefferson and Gabby Williams head to the bench, and a quick basket off a restart. And just like that, UConn's on top by 20 in the first quarter.
It's hard to believe, you know, it's only because Cincinnati struggles to score, but this is a much better Cincinnati team than we've seen last year. Let me tell you, Gino's coaching his brains out over there.
Thrown into the backcourt, Kia Nurse will take it away. Bangs it in on the pull-up. Good quarter for Kia. She is leading UConn in scoring with 8 points.
I like the old school pull up and kiss it off the glass.
She's old school, though.
She
is old school.
That's why I love her. One of the reasons.
I'll tell you one thing that's noticeable here today as well. Communication from UConn. A lot of talking. That's Chelsea Warren knocking down a deep two. 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Plenty of time here for UConn. Stewart pulled down by Goings, and that will be the end of the first quarter. 31-11 is the score at the end of one, as UConn clicking offensively, shooting 60% from the field, 67% from outside the three-point line. 31-11 after one here in Cincinnati. Good start for UConn here on the road to start conference play, 31-11. Time now to check in with Kareth Burke, whose report is brought to you by Sam Adams. Hello, Kareth.
Hi, Eric. I had a chance to catch up with Napheesa Collier. Now that she's had 10 games under her belt as a freshman, I asked her, what's the learning curve been like? The college game is challenging. She says, yes, it is. It's the intensity level that she's getting acclimated to, the pace of practice, the weightlifting regimen. But Napheesa also added that there's been a mental component that she's been grappling with. and that's finding her confidence. You know, she's not the star player anymore. All of these players at UConn were the best in their state or their region, so it's just learning how to be a better teammate. She also said what's making her happy right now is her rebounding. 8 rebounds against Maryland, a dozen against LSU. Nafisa is really working hard to contribute in her freshman year, and Gino likes that. He's recognizing her steady play, so he's putting her in that starting role. Eric?
Nafisa will be on the court here to start the second quarter. Dad making the trip over here, and if you want to know where Nafisa gets her toughness from, her dad played rugby in England, so rugby guys are tough. I wouldn't know from experience.
No,
I've just been told they're tough.
And her dad is just one of the nicest guys around, so it's always nice to see him on the road.
I'd say one thing about Nafisa, and following up what Kareth had to talk about, I think the president of her fan club, besides her dad, is the head coach of the UConn basketball program. There she is on the offensive glass, trying to kick it back outside to Stewart.
Well, I joked with Mr. Collier before today at the hotel. I said, you realize Gino talks so highly of your daughter. He never talks highly about any of his current players. At least not when they're freshmen.
9 points now for Stewart. Jefferson, Nurse, Collier, Stewart, and Chung, the 5 on the floor right now for top-ranked UConn. And good job by Collier getting a hand in there.
Really
what did Mariah Jefferson say? They call her the magnet because the ball always finds her, or she finds the ball, one or the other?
Either way, yeah, because she's always moving, always active. Now, Nurse and Collier had switched players on that possession. Really good communication. They talked well. Different intensity right now, wouldn't you say?
Yes. No question. Jefferson wide open look for 3. There's Brianna Stewart.
Didn't go old school and didn't use the backboard.
Jefferson setting the tone defensively for UConn. And you've noticed her right from the opening tip, and it never ends for her. She doesn't have an off switch. She's been running around. Here she is again, ripping at it, diving on the floor for it, throwing it into the front court, but good hustle countered back by Cincinnati's Benham, and off the scramble, it's going to be a foul on UConn.
A lot going on there.
Well, but it starts with her right there, Mariah Jefferson. I mean, she has been great and active on both ends of the floor.
And Gino's laughing at the eventual foul that was called. There was a couple fouls throughout the course of that entire play.
That foul was called on Brianna Stewart, her second personal. She'll stay on the floor with the 2, and now Collier is going to get called for her first personal. It's going to be the 7th foul called on UConn as a team here. Second this quarter, and then a foul called on Cincinnati. Going to be an offensive foul called on Nakira Goings, freshman out of Marietta, Georgia.
It's important now. Stewart's got 2 fouls. It's really important. Certainly, Gino has a lot of faith in her since she's a senior, but it's important in games like this when it may not matter to not pick up your 3rd foul.
Collier knocks it down. She has 4. Nafisa coming in averaging 6 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. It's a 16-2 burst by UConn to extend the lead out to 24. Collier standing her ground, 4 on the shot clock. Nurse saw Jefferson a little bit too late.
Good decision to not make that pass. You got to be 100% sure.
And a foul called on Chandler, reaching over Collier.
See, now what you got to be careful of, Nurse may have to take a dribble. See, a lot of pushing going on. But with the defense coming over on the right side, like she was, it's easier to come in on the other side of the court, closer to foul line extended on ball side.
Collier there again. Magnet finding it, but unable to cash it. Traveling violation. Turnover number 10 for the Bearcats. Gabby Williams back into the game as Kia Nurse will head to the bench.
Jamel Elliott's team plays with a lot of energy, really good defensively. They just got to shore things up on the offensive end. They had 2 kids transfer last year, which were going to be a big part of the offense this season.
Cincinnati 3 of 14 from the field in the first half against this UConn defense. Stewart tries to force it into Williams, who did well to get after it and put it in. 5 points now for Gabby.
I'm not sure how that pass even got completed.
I think it was a good receiver on the other end, making sure it was a completed pass.
Showing the strength of Williams.
Huskies switch off. And a foul call. 2 free throws coming up here for Cincinnati. Sanaya Chong picking up her first personal foul. Here's going to the free throw line.
Did you really just say that?
Not on purpose. I really didn't. First point for the freshman, who's played in all 11 off the bench, 15 minutes a game. Jefferson with the blow by.
Oh. So quick and explosive with that first step.
7 points now for Mariah. Great balance scoring. 9 for Stewart, 8 for Nurse, 7 for Jefferson. Pass a little too high for Owens to handle. It'll be UConn ball. Natalie Butler coming back into the game. 13 assists on 16 field goals for UConn.
Really doing a nice job of sharing the basketball, particularly against this zone. The zone tries to lull you to sleep. They've done a good job of staying active.
Tough catch for Butler. She's battling though on the inside and gets her second field goal.
Wow, some confidence and some experience. She could be a force to be reckoned with inside.
Tough shot. And count it. Whitfield has 4.
She'll take it. She didn't call bank, but she will take it.
Williams. Collier. Skip to an open Jefferson. Collier. Put back and the foul.
There's that magnet again.
6 points now for Collier. She'll try to finish off the 3-point play when we come back. Mariah Jefferson with 4 assists and 7 points. It's been a great start for Mariah and the Huskies here in conference play. And you know what? We can't slow things down. Got to just show her at top blur speed. 43-14. UConn cruising here, second quarter in Cincinnati. Next month, SNY will premiere an hour-long documentary on the '95 team that will look at the program's first ever national championship and the long-lasting impact on that magical season. Here's a sneak peek involving two starters from that year, Jen Rosati and Jamel Elliott.
One of the stories that Rebecca Lobo would tell all the time was, you know, when it was time for us to play pickup, you know, if Jen and I wasn't on the same team, more than likely there would be some type of, you know, going back and forth from a competitive nature and just wanting to win.
I will always say that she's the best teammate I've ever had. You know, like Rebecca was my best friend in college, but Jamel is definitely my best teammate.
UConn 95, Birth of a Dynasty, premieres on Wednesday, January 13th at 8:30 here on SNY. I'm sure that's going to bring back some pretty good memories for you and
Yes,
for Jamel and for Jen and Gino and every fan of UConn basketball.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. I mean, Jamel, I was an assistant on that team, and Jamel, like Jen said it best, you know, Jamel was her best teammate, and Jamel was just a phenomenal teammate to everybody, and she's still like that with all of her friends.
Jamel, part of 519 wins as a player and coach at UConn.
And what, 12? No, how many? 6 national championships.
Tipped and last touch by UConn. Courtney Ekmark has come into the game for the Huskies, so Courtney's on the floor with Kia Nurse, Mariah Jefferson, Natalie Butler, and Gabby Williams.
I hear Mariah's voice talking a lot. She knows she's a lone senior out there.
And now she has a rebound. Nurse trying to find Butler. Good job, but a foul is called here on Goings.
What a good look to get the ball into Butler. That was a tough angle to make that pass.
Jamel saying that was all ball. Looked pretty good.
It did look good. What you couldn't tell is if the defender's arm hit Butler's right arm. Her hand looked like it certainly hit the ball.
Brandy Tarver coming back in for the Bearcats.
And what Butler will learn at her height, you go up strong and in a way that they can know there's no chance that anyone her height can block that ball. And when I say her height, the kid who fouled her. There's no one out there close to Butler's height.
Open look in the corner, knocked down by Williams, controlled back to Anna Owens. Wide open look, a rare wide open look for her, and a foul called on UConn. Butler is going to pick up the personal.
Well, this Cincinnati team does a really good job of crashing the boards. They had 13 offensive rebounds. You see Katie Lou Samuelson has not entered the game yet.
Butler.
Good box out inside by Butler. Thank you very much.
7 points for Natalie Butler in her UConn debut.
Nice pass.
Whitfield has 6 to lead Cincinnati in scoring. Back out top to Kia Nurse. Now Mariah Jefferson. Double figures now for Mariah.
So many weapons and ways that UConn can score.
10 points, 4 assists. And a foul called on Ekmark. So you can show Natalie Butler showing off her complete offensive game here.
Look at, she set that screen for her teammate along the baseline and did a nice job flashing to the high post. Quick release, quick turn.
Get him up, Dad.
2:12 to go in the quarter. Butler 3 of 5 shooting, has 7 points and 3 rebounds. Another free throw coming up. Be sure to stay with us here at halftime. Gary Apple, Kara Walters, the first half recap, and find out if Brianna Stewart has figured out the secret to playing for Gino on the UConn women's basketball halftime report. Coming up next, good to have Gary and Kara with us.
Great to have
We were
them.
counting the games,
I miss them.
the hours, the minutes, but now with the start of conference play, 3 seconds is the call here on Butler. Turnover number 5. It's been 2 years since she played. So.
Well, you're going to have moments like that. I would think, while Gino may not admit this, he's got to be happy with what he's seen from Butler here so far. It's been 2 years. Or at least a year and a half.
Batted back out. No reset of the shot clock. Butler with the rebound. Finds Jefferson, weaving through traffic. Feeding Gabby Williams. Another assist for Mariah. That's 5 in this game.
It looked like Williams tipped that once she shot it. She went up in the air, lost the handle, and then tipped it in.
Answered back by a 3. Whitfield having a good game. 9 points for Whitfield. Again, averaging 14 a game. Approaching 1 minute to go here in the first half. A high-scoring half for UConn. Nurse. Grabbed by Owens. And Ekmark's going to get called for the foul. And that's going to be the second on Courtney. (52-21). UConn put 50 on Ohio State for their most points in a half this year, and also was the game where they had their high watermark when it came to scoring 100 points in that win against the Buckeyes. Lovett with 4. Collier coming into the game. Chong coming in as well, as Mariah Jefferson heads to the bench with Kia Nurse. So I just want to make sure I've got Mariah's numbers up to date, because I do believe she has a turnover here tonight. Not 1 turnover, right? 5 assists, 1 turnover. So in her career against Cincinnati, she has 28 assists and 4 turnovers.
That's absurd.
Gabby Williams showing that mid-range game. She now has 9 off the bench.
Yeah, really nice job by Williams, just moving, finding the open spot, and she found that hole at the high post.
Williams tried to get there, could not. Settles back into the 2-3 zone. Good recovery by Williams to get a piece of that attempt from Owens. Gabby should get credit for a block. That'll be her 8th of the season. Collier. Ekmark tried to save it, and I think she did. I think she threw it off Cincinnati legs, so good hustle play by Courtney. Goings coming back into the game with half a second to go. They go to Williams. That is a great play when you have less than a second to go. Throw it to the former high jumper up high, and it almost went down.
I mean, how did that pop out? That was halfway down. Look at that athleticism. Oh, my.
Certainly would have counted, but it did not go down. But just about everything else went down for UConn in that first half. They lead 54-22 at halftime, shooting 55% from the field. Here's Kareth with Gino.
Well, Gino, after a hard-fought win over Maryland, the quick turnaround to open conference play, you like the way your team came out?
Yeah, I thought we came out with a lot of energy, you know. it's never easy playing, you know, 2 games in 3 days, especially after the one we had the other night. But we came out with a lot of energy, and we shot the ball really well. And, you know, except for us fouling them, the game's being called really tight tonight. So you got to adjust to the way the game's being called. And way different than it was called the other night. But no, I like our energy, and I like the way we're moving the ball, and all good, all good.
Thank you very much, Gino. UConn opening a nice lead over Cincinnati to get conference play started. Natalie Butler also making her season debut. We're going to get you to the halftime show with Gary and Kara in just a moment. The Huskies leading in Cincinnati.
UConn women's basketball on SNY, brought to you by Subaru of New England. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. For more information, go to SubaruofNewEngland.com. By Connecticut Lottery, you can't win if you don't play. And by People's United Bank Wealth Management, using our know-how to plan for your future. They're on the road right now, Minnesota and Arizona, but soon UConn hockey will be back in Hartford at the XL Center. You can get your tickets now. For FlexPack single game or group ticket information, visit UConnTickets.com today. Take a look at the halftime stats presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. UConn with 17 assists on 22 field goals, 2 assists for Cincinnati on 6 field goals in the first half. 1 UConn player in double figures, Mariah Jefferson. Here's Kareth with Cincinnati head coach Jamel Elliott.
Jamel, it's clear your team isn't playing scared of UConn. What did you ask them to do in the second half?
Well, you know, we just want to keep taking advantage of open shots because, you know, you're not going to get a whole lot against such a good UConn defensive team. I thought we had some pretty good looks, you know, some shots that went in and out in the first half. I think we could do a better job of boxing out. You know, it doesn't matter what type of team you play, number 1 in the country or not. The effort there to box out, I thought we gave up a couple of second chances on the offensive end. But overall, I'm really happy with our transition defense. They're not getting any easy open looks in transition. So the next 20 minutes, we set some small goals at halftime. Hopefully we can achieve them and get out of here feeling good about ourselves.
Very good. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Kareth, thanks very much. Back courtside with Meg Como. One thing UConn's doing very well, sharing the basketball with those 17 first half assists, getting everybody involved in the offense.
Well, if they scored 52 points and they only have 1 kid in double figures, that means they shared the ball. A lot of people got involved on the offensive end. Really impressive, I thought. The way they got the ball up the floor on the pass, the skip pass there to Kia Nurse, who had 8. And here, maybe the prettiest pass of that first half on the break. Quick touch pass to Stewie with 9 in the first half. And Mariah Jefferson was the lone double-figure scorer with 10 there. A 3-pointer from long range. That's what really gave that 2-3 defense fits.
As Meg mentioned, just 1 UConn player in double figures. Mariah Jefferson, 10 points, 5 assists. Nafisa Collier, 7 points in the first half. You could see Stewart, Williams, and Nurse 9, 9, and 8. Collier also had 6 rebounds, 4 on the offensive glass in her 15 minutes. It'll be Tuck, Stewart, Collier, Nurse, and Jefferson, the starting 5, back on the floor to start for UConn here in the second half. UConn shot 55% from the field in the first 20 minutes.
And how about 50% from 3-point range? 5 of 10 from behind the arc.
Anna Owens, an open look. Owens 1 of 9 from the field, 0 for 5 from outside the 3-point line. Whitfield leading Cincinnati in scoring with 9 points. Morgan Tuck, wide open look.
Nice decision by Tuck, though, to find the open spot at that high post.
Nurse trying to stand her ground, but she gets whistled for the foul. That will be her second personal.
I thought she moved her feet pretty well. I don't agree with that call.
Which is your right. You have a microphone and a platform. Owens at the line is 5 for 5 tonight on the season. 75% free throw shooter, the best player for Cincinnati, leading the team in scoring, leading the team in assists, 3-point shooting, free throw shooting. Went for 35 against Ohio State. 1 of 3 times she's gone for 20 points in a game.
And she plays hard. I mean, that play alone, she created that foul call because she just went hard to the basket.
Stewart,
Nice
beautiful
pass.
feed to Tuck.
Their high-low combination is so good, and it doesn't matter who's initiating the pass. We saw against Maryland Monday night, Tuck made some great passes down to Stewie. Stewie makes them to Tuck.
Collier had the block. Last touch by Cincinnati, UConn ball.
You know, the skip pass, and Stewart flashes to that high post. The defense comes up. She sees there's no one on that block that can guard Tuck on the opposite side. Smart play by Stewart. A nice job by sealing her defender in Morgan Tuck.
Tuck tries to return the favor to Stewart, but she was in a headlock under the basket, so a foul will be called on Cincinnati. I might have embellished a little bit. It wasn't a headlock, more like an arm bar.
It was a good foul is what it was.
Nurse with a good drive to the basket. Count it, and the foul.
Pretty take by Kia Nurse, splitting the defense with the dribble.
This is the drive of the game presented by Chevrolet.
You know, it was a great play. Lovett tried to come over and help, number 12. See, she comes over to try to help. Nope. Kia Nurse is so good at getting to the basket.
Tuck will get to the free throw line after getting the offensive rebound.
This is what Jamel Elliott talked about. I mean, boxing out. She told Kareth Burke in that halftime interview, you know, we got to box out. Here they have the inside position. You have to take advantage and not give up a rebound off of your opponent's free throw.
Morgan now with 7. You saw her numbers against Maryland. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and joined the 1,000-point club Monday night at Madison Square Garden. It's a great place to do it.
The best arena. Well, at least we'll say the most famous, right?
The world's most famous arena. That's going to be a blocking foul on Cincinnati's Whitfield. That's going to be her 4th personal foul.
Nice job by Jefferson to try to avoid that contact.
So 4 on Whitfield. She heads to the bench, and Warren comes back in. Jefferson saved back, but to Nurse.
That's a painful foul for Whitfield and Cincinnati. They want her on the floor, not on the bench.
Collier. UConn getting a lot of opportunities on the offensive glass.
Even though Collier missed that shot, I love how quickly she rebounded and put it right back up.
Owens accelerates to the basket. Couldn't score. Stewart to Nurse. To Jefferson. To Tuck. For 2.
So unselfish. They run the floor so hard.
6th assist for Moriah. Only 2 points this quarter so far, 3 minutes in for Cincinnati. Collier open. Going to try to post up Stewart. That's a little out of the range of Chandler. And it'll be UConn basketball. Let's take you back to that last field goal. All but one touched the basketball on this break.
It just gets up the foul. Gets up the floor so fast on that long outlet pass from Stewart. And then Moriah, a terrific finish pass down low to Tuck.
Tuck saw the mismatch inside as Owens was trying to defend Stewart. Stewart's first points of the second half. That means she has 11 in the game. She is now tied with Carrie Bascom for 5th on the all-time list. Another rebound for Collier. Another chance here. Tuck is going to take it all the way. Timeout, Cincinnati. Everyone involved for UConn. Morgan Tuck now into double figures with 11. Mariah Jefferson has 10. Kia Nurse has 10. Brianna Stewart has 11. They are sharing the basketball beautifully here in the Queen City. Back here in Cincinnati. Our next game on SNY will be next Wednesday when the Huskies return home to take on Tulsa at the XL Center. Our coverage will begin with the pregame show at 6:30. We hope to see you then. Tonight's UConn trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz. UConn 28-5 all-time in conference openers. So when was their last conference opening loss? Here's your one hint. It hasn't been since they've been in the American. That's it. You're out of hints. It was before their time in the American because they're 42-0 all time in this conference.
That's true.
So here's where Brianna Stewart stands right now. Carrie Bascom holding on to 5th place for the moment. Nikisha Sales and KML 1 point away from being tied, 2 from being passed for 3rd all time.
Yeah, because we got to go to...
Yeah, Keisha and KML, you're soon to be in the rearview mirror. Like so many of us.
Oh, I love how you just put yourself in the group with Nikisha Sales and Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis.
I'm not even on the same road.
That was a good move. Again, you have a platform and a microphone. They don't.
No one realizes how far back I am.
Good work on the offensive glass that time by Cincinnati. Four points now this quarter for the Bearcats. They trail by 40. Still the original 5 on the floor for UConn. Collier shot no good, but guess who got the rebound? That's the 6th offensive rebound for Collier.
Again, I noticed really good communication defensively by the Huskies.
Knocked out of bounds by Collier. That'll get us to our 5-minute timeout. 4:31 to go in the quarter. This is the point of the show where Meg sings the theme to WKRP in Cincinnati, her favorite show of all time. No? Maybe after the commercial break. 40-point game in Cincinnati. Back here in Cincinnati, the 40-point game. Tonight on an all-new Gino Auriemma show presented by UConn Health. Gino on a handful of topics, including the progression of his freshman class.
The thing about freshmen is they walk a really fine line. How cocky should they be coming in as, hey, we were first-team All-Americans. Now here we are. I'm going to show you how good I am. And how respectful should they be of the people that are already here. It's a fine line. If you come in too cocky and can't back it up, you got problems.
Gino Auriemma show airs later tonight, right after the UConn women's postgame show here on SNY. I'm told we'll also find out which classes Gino and Chris Daly taught in their early days at UConn. It wasn't chem or engineering. There you see Katie Lou Samuelson. This could be kind of a lesson in progress for one of those freshmen here, because she was a full participant this morning at shoot-around. She was a participant in the warm-up pregame. Good hustle play coming back by Cincinnati's Lovett, but still a finish by UConn.
Yeah, nice finish there by Gabby Williams. But, you know, the hard thing for freshmen is, as Gino alluded to, but, you know, they've never had to play with such intensity for such a sustained period of time, so that takes adjusting to.
Well, what we know about Katie Lou, it's not injury related and it's not illness related tonight, so it's message related from the head coach.
So the bottom line is you have to keep playing. You make a mistake, you make 2 mistakes, don't worry about it. Keep playing. But, you know, Katie Lou and every other player who's come through this program has never had to play this hard in her life.
Gabby Williams, the 5th UConn player into double figures. Brianna Stewart takes a tumble.
She did. Now, the previous play in this possession. Stewart got called for the foul. Here she drew the offensive foul on Owens.
So Stewart takes the charge. Only one change personnel-wise this quarter for UConn, and that's Williams in for Collier. Williams will go to the free throw line. Gabby's a perfect 5 for 5 from the field for 11 points, go along with 4 rebounds. Now Sanaya Chung gets ready to come into the game. But first, free throw for Gabby. Chung in for Kia Nurse. So 12 points now for Williams. I'm going to pause before I say this next sentence. She's been really good at the free throw line. 3 for 3 tonight, now up to 70% on the season. Remember last year she was 46%.
Well, it was wise of you to not jinx her. But she worked incredibly hard in the offseason, and when you put the work in, the results typically show.
Three-pointer, it's a 2. Correction, a 2, deep 2 from Maya Benham, her first points. Freshman averaging 3 a game.
Good ball movement that possession for the Bearcats.
Jefferson. Shot blocked cleanly. Good defensive play made by Chelsea Warren. Freshman from Red Oak, Texas, blocking the shot of the senior from Glen Heights, Texas.
Well, it was a nice take, but really nicely timed block by Warren.
Stewart's, there it is. 13 points now for Stewie, and she is 3rd on the all-time scoring list at UConn. Sanaya Chung getting a hand in there and taking it away. Some help from Tuck. Skip over to Stewart, looking to add to her total with a 3. 16 points now for Brianna Stewart. Tipped by Jefferson, controlled by Owens. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. On the glass, foul's going to get called on Gabby Williams, I believe. So Brianna Stewart passing Carrie Bascom, Nikisha Sales, and Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis here tonight. Now with 2,182 points in her career.
Pretty elite company to be in the women's basketball world.
Yeah, Gerard Guilfoyle makes a great point. It's only 125 games, too. It shows you the level she's been playing at since the moment she stepped on campus. But it wasn't always great. We were talking beforehand as Katie Lou Samuelson has come in for the first time here tonight. That's knocked down a three-pointer for Maya Benham. Wasn't always easy for Stewart that freshman year.
If you remember, her first 10 games, she scored more than any other freshman in the history of the program. And then she went into a little funk, and that happens.
Tuck and Samuelson were both inside to get that rebound. It was brought in by Tuck.
And all of these superstars that come out of high school into this program, they get hit with a dose of reality that I don't think they thought could exist.
And Samuelson's going to get called for what you could look at as a ticky-tack foul, but Gino Oriema pointed it out to Kareth Burke at halftime, saying this game's being officiated very tightly here. And as a player, you have to recognize that.
You have to adjust. They're not going to change. And if you want to fight it, well, then you'll be sitting on the bench with 5 fouls.
Oh, Nafisa Collier with the steal, but then Collier is going to get called for the offensive foul.
That's horrible. Like Gino's laughing about it.
So is Nafisa's dad, by the way. But let's see. I think this was a good sell job by the Cincinnati player.
Yeah, her right elbow. So she's running, and her face goes back. And the late call, the official, that was such a reaction.
Actually,
you can tell he's shy.
They're showing the simulcast of our telecast on the big screen here, so he was just doing she's just running. That's how she's run her whole life.
All she's doing is running.
The officials are going to the monitor here to see if
you talk about teachable moments.
Flagrant about it.
Are you kidding? That's really what they're looking at?
It's got to be, unless there was something with the clock.
I would hope Bob Etterline would go over there and say,
well,
he'll say to her, you know what, Tiara Cruz, in the future, don't call this.
All right, so here's a different angle.
Here's an angle.
Arms got locked. Pushed back with the hand a little bit. Maybe not an maybe, is that a natural running motion?
Angle. Maybe if you're a spaz.
Is that Megan Colmo's natural running motion?
That would be the way, yeah, after a couple miles. You know what? I take back what I said. That's not a horrible call.
So the officials are going to take turns here to look at this play to see if this is going to be anything more than a common foul. And they have to look too. Where is this contact here? Is it in the shoulder? That is above the chin. So that is contact to the head by the book.
Yeah.
Wasn't part of her natural running motion. There was a movement made, and with how they've been calling it today, you could see a flagrant being called here. I think that might have been a rugby move.
Yeah.
Common foul, common foul, common foul.
We're being told it's just going to be a common foul here on Collier. They did take a long look at it.
Well, I think that's the right call. I don't think it was flagrant. I do believe it was a foul.
Yes.
The replay showed what the official saw that first time. So Tiara Cruz made the right call.
So it's Cincinnati basketball after the foul on Collier. That's her second personal foul. Collier there defensively. Got it off the tuck, and now Sanaya Chung at the point for UConn. Gabby Williams calling for the basketball. Worked around to Samuelson. Samuelson with the spin move to the basket.
Nice aggressive move.
Answer back, another three, knocked down by the Bearcats. This time it's Goings making the three. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Sanaya Chung, open three, rattles that one in. First points for Sanaya.
So Rosie, keep up whatever you're doing on Sanaya Chung.
And a foul called with 1.4 to go. Gabby Williams with the personal. So Sanaya making the three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scores for UConn. Owens at the strike. 9 now for Anna. All freshmen in the American last year. Led the team in scoring and is leading them in scoring this season and leading them in scoring here tonight in the double figures with 10. And that is the end of the third quarter. UConn putting 82 points on the board through three. Number one, Connecticut 82. Cincinnati 36, heading to the fourth quarter. Well, we'll be spending tonight here in Cincinnati, and I have Meg's post-game dinner plans all set. Skyline chili for you, Meg. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Have you not had anything to eat in the last 2 days?
Or the next upcoming 2 days.
That's right. That's right. You didn't eat too much during the holidays. Well, we are here at the University of Cincinnati, home of the Big O, Oscar Robertson. Big campus here, of course, quiet now that kids are on break. Clean up after the Skyline chili here, too. Start of the fourth quarter. Nurse Samuelson deep three, rebounded by Collier for the putback. Collier now with 10 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds for the sophomore. The freshman, I beg your pardon, playing like a sophomore maybe. 84-36. Shot clock. Owens had it knocked out of play. 3 on the shot clock for Cincinnati.
Look at her. That's just effort. Elliott will take issue with that with her club, not boxing out. Nice job by Collier crashing the boards.
Owens couldn't get it in play, so it's a turnover, number 17 for Cincinnati. UConn with 6 turnovers here tonight. UConn's also a plus 22 in rebounding margin. They have just dominated on the glass. And once again, on the offensive glass, Sanaya Chong with the putback.
I think that should be credited to Samuelson for knocking that ball away from the Cincinnati defender who almost had the rebound.
19 offensive rebounds for UConn, Meg. 19 total rebounds for Cincinnati. Four on the shot clock. And here's the beauty of playing for the #1 team in the country as the Goings three is off the iron. They don't settle back into a soft zone for the final 8 minutes to roll off the clock as another three is knocked down.
Yes, and then Chong comes up and takes that one from about 23 feet.
If you're on the floor, there's only one way to work for UConn, and that's what you're seeing here on the defensive end. That three won't go, and it's another rebound for Collier. Samuelson open, passed up the three-point shot, took it to the basket, but got called for the offensive foul. Cincinnati ball, here's Karen.
You know, I was reading up on Jamelle Elliott, and it's so clear what an extraordinary woman she is. She's part of 6 UConn national championships as a player or as a coach. And here's a fact. She has never missed a game as a player. That's 135 straight games in 4 years. So I asked Gino, how did she do it? How is she this injury-free superwoman? And Gino said, quote, just one tough mother. Not sure she ever missed a practice either. Eric?
Cincinnati takes it to the basket, and then Chong scrambling for the basketball as Chandler scores. That's a pretty good track record, not to miss a practice, not to miss a game.
JJ is one of the toughest competitors ever. But the funny thing is, just one of the kindest people, too, off the court.
Seven minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 89-38 UConn. 5 players in double figures, led by Brianna Stewart, 16, and a traveling violation. Well, Jamelle was the second member of the 1,000-point, 1,000-rebound club, and as we mentioned before, that 1995 team, so well coached by Meg in an assistant role, but Jamelle, you just get a look at the toughness of someone who would just attack the basket.
5'10". She was 5'10".
Played so much bigger, right?
And at the time was one of the first players in the history of the program to get 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds.
Samuelson's three is good.
Yeah, the trick for Samuelson going forward, and as we see her knock down a three, which she made a high school career out of, is how can she expand her game? And that will be the test going forward. Remember when Breanna Stewart was a freshman, she didn't want to get in the lane. Well, she eventually learned, I better listen to him or my life would be miserable.
See Samuelson in transition here.
There you go.
Drive to the basket. Natalie Butler just back into the game, cleans it up. 9 points for Butler, first points of the second half.
Impressive outing for Butler in her debut.
9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 6 shooting. Benham can't get it. There's another rebound for Butler. Samuelson, open three. Ripped away by Lovett. Lovett left open. Inside of 5.5 minutes to play. Courtney Ekmark will come in next opportunity as Chong brings it across half court. This is the 15th meeting all time between Cincinnati and UConn. UConn has won the first 14.
Pass.
Collier was fouled on the way up. She'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. As they straighten things out around the lane, we can bring you the answer to tonight's trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz. UConn will win this conference opener. When was the last time they'd lost a conference opener? And it was to Notre Dame. 73-72 in the final year of Big East play for UConn.
They had some great contests back when they were in the Big East. Great games between UConn and Notre Dame. And it certainly hasn't stopped. But imagine that they played 3 times a year.
Collier with 11 points, so a double-double for Nafisa. 11 points, 11 rebounds. The bank shot is good from Chelsea Warren. That is the first double-double of Collier's career. And I'm going to beat Meg to the punch on this one, saying that it will not be her last double-double in her UConn career. Foul call, though, get us to a timeout with 4:32 to go here in the fourth in Cincinnati.
Sitting alongside Carol Walters. Great balance for Connecticut. They've got 6 in double figures tonight.
Well, one player not in double figures could prove to be a big asset to this year's team, and I'll tell you who that is coming up.
All right, look forward to that. The People's United Bank postgame show is on the way as we send it back to Eric and Meg, guys.
Good to hear your voices again, Gary and Kara. We'll talk to you post-game. 4:32 to go in the fourth quarter. Natalie Butler making her UConn debut tonight, and it's been a memorable one. Butler with 9 points, 7 rebounds in 10 minutes for the Huskies. She's on the floor with Collier, Chong, Ekmark, and Samuelson. Sanaya stepping to the free throw line to shoot a couple. She can be number 7 in double figures. Well, you take a look at the numbers. 24 assists on 38 field goals, 29 points off of turnovers. Sanaya Chong now with 10, another one in double figures.
You know, we talked off the top of the show, the rest that the seniors and some of the starters will get as the year goes along, that proves invaluable come end of March and April.
Samuelson fighting for it, couldn't get there, no reset on the shot clock. Knocking it down is Benham. She has 7, all in the second half. Well, I do not remember being at a game with 7 in double figures. Natalie Butler scores another point. There'll be 8 in double figures. Ekmark joins the club. She had not scored yet, but she now has made sure that everyone who's gotten on the floor has scored for UConn tonight. It is a new season high in scoring for UConn. 101 on the board after they scored 100 in the opener against Ohio State. That was the previous season high. Goings, a freshman. Well, a couple of freshmen having an opportunity here to get some time against the #1 team in the country, not backing down. Goings and Benham especially.
Yeah, and they were high school and AAU teammates, so they know how to play together.
Sanaya Chong makes a three-pointer. 13 for Sanaya.
You know, when Sanaya has been healthy this season, which has predominantly been in stretches in practice, she has been spectacular. But we often haven't seen it because when game time would come, that IT band syndrome would flare up and she'd be unable to play. It's nice to see her out on the floor 2 games in a row.
Again, if you're just joining us, she went through that pregame massage routine. Ooh, hard contact there as Collier and Lovett go for the rebound, and it's Lovett getting called for the foul. So here's what's ahead for UConn. They have a week off, which comes at a good time because you're in New York City Monday, late Monday night game. You were there, you know it was a late game getting out of New York. Late getting home. So they have a week off until they take on Tulsa. We'll be with you for that game, and then it's a road trip at Houston and at 20th ranked USF. And then at Memphis, so 3 in a row on the road after returning to the XL Center a week from tonight to take on Tulsa. Tulsa is 3-8. The Golden Hurricane hosting East Carolina tonight. Will be the first of 2 meetings with Tulsa for UConn this year. Tierney Lawler into the game and Brianna Polito in the game as well for UConn. Ekmark couldn't get it. Lawler almost got the rebound.
I thought Lawler got pushed as she tried to go up for the rebound. Nice block by Butler.
South Florida top 20 team lost by 10 tonight to 8th ranked Mississippi State. So setback for the Bulls. Samuelson can't get it, but she'll have a chance at the free throw line.
Nice pass from Lawler, exactly where the ball needed to be. As Samuelson got fouled and knocked down, just couldn't get it to drop.
So Samuelson steps to the free throw line. For Cincinnati, this is the toughest game on what has been a tough schedule so far this season. They've played Baylor, Michigan State, Ohio State, Georgia, and now UConn. Trinity Hunter comes into the game, her 9th appearance this year. Blocked by Butler. Feed to Butler, turning and scoring. 8 in double figures for #1 UConn. Natalie Butler now with 11 points.
She's doing it on both ends of the floor, blocking shots, rebounding, foul line jumpers, layups.
We're going to have to rack our brains here. Do you ever remember 8 in double figures in a game? I don't. It has. It could not have happened. I mean, there's 107 points on the board. I've learned, though, when it comes to stats and figures with UConn, expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
There could be some time somewhere where that has happened. Here's the block by Butler.
And the good thing is that left thumb doesn't seem to be a problem. But how about that At 6'5", catch, turn, quick release from the free throw line.
And some smiles now over on the bench. Final seconds here at Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati. The start of conference play will be another win in conference for UConn. They will improve to 43-0 all-time in the American. They'll dribble out the clock, and it is a season high for UConn. 107 points on the board, 8 players in double figures in a 107-45 victory. Gino and Jamel meeting at half court after a UConn win, their 48th consecutive win, third longest in school history. And our player of the game, presented by People's United Bank, Nafisa Collier gets the first double-double of her career. 7 of her 12 rebounds came on the offensive glass. So Collier making her 4th consecutive start, making the most of it again. One of 8 in double figures, Meg, in a win for UConn. Let's check in with Kareth, standing by with Gino.
Well, Gino, a win to start conference play. What do you tell your team about attacking each one of these games like it's tournament time?
I think, every day you play, you're trying to accomplish something. Winning the game is part of accomplishing all those things that you set your goals for. And, doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it's Maryland on Monday night or at Cincinnati on Wednesday. You go in with a certain set of goals, and this is what we're going to do. And once you start playing a game a certain way, depending on who the opponent is, then you're going to become a mediocre team. And, we wanted to come out tonight and play with a certain energy and a certain enthusiasm and a certain toughness, and I thought we did that.
We saw Katie Lou check in late in the third. Where is she in the freshman learning curve?
Well, she has to learn to play harder. She has to learn to compete harder. I think sometimes when you're labeled a great shooter, you start to think that's all you do. And then when your shot's not going in, you don't do anything else. So, Lou's going to get there. It's going to take some hard work on her part.
Finally, the season debut for Natalie Butler. How did she do?
I thought she did great. She's been waiting a long time to play. She feels really good. She felt good today at shoot-around. She was really good, in practice yesterday. So, with each day, she's going to feel better and better. But I thought for the first time out, she looked great, and she was excited to be out there.
Thank you, Gino, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Eric, back to you.
Thank you very much, Kareth. Natalie Butler scoring 11 points in her UConn debut. Nafisa Collier with a double-double. It's a win for UConn here in Cincinnati. Another win for Gino against one of his former players. We're back to wrap things up here at Cincy in a moment.